Because now I'll tell you the truth even when you don't want to hear it. We fought a few battles in the early days on the streets. When we watched Joe Martin's out here, some of the other folks, when we were watching government do things, now I guess we'll say they feel like they have to do it. But they tried to close doors and they tried to cut off services. And many of us had to go and speak because many of the folks on the streets didn't have a voice. They hadn't found their voice. And I know that we stood together along with a few other folks and fought some of those battles, and some of the doors are still open. And I would venture to say that Matt Talbotson wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the tradition of those relationships and the battles that were fought. He also was a member of Clay Piper. They came in and played music for this event for years for us. He recently retired. We expect him to be a survivor, more than a survivor, a thriver. He was diagnosed. You know, he talks about it. He's had a recurring battle with cancer, but we know that God's able to heal him, and we expect that to happen for him. So we can But I won't say much more except that he worked for, 23 years as a nurse with health care for the homeless. He was literally out in the streets providing care for folks in shelters and the like. And so this year's Joe McGuire Award goes to Wayne Quinn.
I recognize a lot of folks from the past events here every year, and I do thank you. Surprise acknowledgement for this thing. It was just out of the blue to me, and I appreciate it very much. And I did work at the original Matt Talbot Center, which was up there on Yale Street, Yale Avenue, or whatever, by the REI. Boy, that was a bit of a chaotic situation. Wow. Smoke them if you got them. That whole room was just full of cigarette smoke, I do recall, and there was quite a dynamic program going on there at that time, and I did outreach work to the folks from a medical point of view, and invited folks into with their medical issues, connected them to primary care and stuff like that. Just formed an alliance with those people. It was great. Been part of this thing, as Greg mentioned, many years, actually more than 23 years, like 30 years since I showed up here in Seattle. I used to work at the King County Jail with that crowd, and as it turns out, when I got out, after serving 7 years in the King County Jail, they gave me a sweatshirt that said, "I served 7 years in King County Jail." I met a lot of folks that I actually knew from the jailhouse in the street, and that alliance went along through the years, and it was just a blessing to me to be invited to serve that population. To invite me into their lives and to be so personable, so revealing to me, and in a friendship sort of way. It was just fantastic, and I hope to do something in the future in a volunteer basis to continue that if I stay well. And I appreciate any prayers you might have to help me stay the course to my battle of cancer, which I have now, but I think I'll beat it. Well done. Thank you.